So I basically did an unintentional 3-day egg fast, probably going to be 4. But I did jump on the scale right before I started the egg fast because I've never done one. Hey everybody, welcome back to Carnivore Quest. It's a beautiful day here in South Carolina. It is April 15th, tax day. So I'm going to get this video out to you guys in real time. It should be out this evening. I hope you guys got your taxes done. I had a little bit of a monkey wrench thrown into my ground beef challenge the last 3 days. I wanted to give you guys a little update on what's been going on because I was supposed to restart my daily vlogs after my last birthday vlog, and that just didn't happen. And the reason was I got some ground beef jerky that I made. I showed you guys in that previous video. I actually had this last, it's about just over a pound. This stuff is amazing. But I had it in the freezer because I was no longer able to eat it anymore. When Cassie and I went up to North Carolina on that trip, I probably ate 2.5 pounds of this stuff. And most of you know I wear dentures, and I've never had a problem with my dentures on the carnivore diet. You know, once I got the extractions done and, you know, I got used to them, I've never had a problem. Well, eating this beef jerky, like Cassie and I driving in the car, you know, I munched on it our whole trip. And my bottom dentures, which is a partial, my uppers are a full denture, full plate. And most of the time when you eat with dentures, you eat with like a little piece of meat on both sides to keep it even. Well, with this jerky, I wasn't doing that. I was chewing on either side, and my denture was rocking a little bit. Well, I developed this horrible sore on the inside of my mouth. You know what I mean? Here, I'm going to pull these out. First time ever on camera I've ever done this. But here we go. This little part right here goes on the inside of your mouth by your salivary gland. I don't know if you guys can see that. Brutal. Anyway, it was digging in because of that rocking motion on the inside of my mouth. And I developed a sore there that was just unbelievably painful. Give me a sec. And it still hurts. Anyway, I got to the point where I couldn't eat anymore. I looked online how to take care of it. You know, leave your dentures out, rinse with warm salt water consistently all day long. So I've been doing that the last 3 days. I thought about fasting, but I decided against that. I didn't feel like fasting, you know what I mean? So I ended up eating scrambled eggs the last 3 days. Today would be day 4. And I think I'm still going to have scrambled eggs today. Matter of fact, I know I am. Like when I put my denture in right now, it's not really hurting that much to talk. But if I, you know, like bit down like this, ow, that hurts pretty bad. But I did go have my denture adjusted. Affordable Dentures got me in 2 days ago, and they adjusted it for me. And it's no longer has that, you know, rocking motion, but the sore is still there. And so I got to leave my dentures out pretty much until it's almost healed. You know what I mean? But I think by day after tomorrow, because your mouth heals pretty quickly, I think by day after tomorrow, I'll be back to eating my ground beef. And, you know, I've enjoyed the eggs, though. I'm not going to lie. It's been a nice little change. I'm a little sick of them now. But I bought a 30-pack from Food Lion, and I ate 10 eggs every day. You know, I had my lunch and my dinner. You know, I kept my hours, you know, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. eating window. I basically had 5 eggs for lunch, 5 eggs for dinner, and a real soft scramble. So I'm almost like just mushing them in with my tongue up against the roof of my mouth, almost drinking them. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to do that over fasting. And one thing I really feel good about is because one of my 2 favorite foods to eat if I don't have my dentures in is either cottage cheese or peanut butter. You know, you don't have all this plastic in your mouth. You know, a spoonful of peanut butter in your mouth, just, it's like heaven, because, you know, it hits the roof of your mouth, you get the texture, the flavor. And I thought about picking up, you know, some all natural peanut butter and some cottage cheese and I decided against that, which I'm happy about. You know, I could have easily used the excuse, oh, well, I don't have any teeth, you know, I can have a little peanut butter. So, and that tells me my cravings have really been crushed, y'all. I mean, I'm not craving anything, you know, off the carnivore diet at all. And for me to be able to say no to peanut butter and cottage cheese when I'm in this situation, that's a huge win for me. You got to make adjustments when life happens. You know, and I got to admit, it was nice to take a little bit of a break from the vlogging. You know, I enjoy it, but when I'm showing you guys the same thing every single day, it does get a little monotonous. But when I was in pain, I'm still in pain. Just having these in right now is painful. You know, when I have my teeth out, this sore, you ever have a canker sore you just keep messing with? Well, that's what I keep doing with my tongue. When I have my teeth out, I keep messing with this sore on the inside. But it is healing. It's much better than it was 3 days ago. Yeah, and that's from, you know, rinsing with salt water and keeping my teeth out. But I hate having my teeth out. I have friends who have dentures that like to leave their teeth out if they're not in public. I can't stand doing that because, you know, when you go to close your mouth, you know, I need that to stop. If I don't have my teeth in and I go to close my mouth, your mouth closes too far and it puts a weird pressure back here in your jaw. I hate that feeling. So I do not like having my teeth out. So I basically did an unintentional 3-day egg fast, probably going to be 4. But I did jump on the scale right before I started the egg fast because I've never done one. You know, everybody's heard of doing an egg fast, but I've actually never done one. And I jumped on the scale, and in 3 days I lost 2 pounds. And after today, day 4, hopefully I'll lose another pound. I have been drinking a ton of water, taking my electrolytes, and eating eggs, you know. But I am really happy that I said no to the cottage cheese and you know, the peanut butter. You know, the cottage cheese, a lot of carnivores eat cottage cheese. I just can never do it in moderation. You know, if I sit down with a tub, I'm gonna eat half that tub, sometimes even the whole tub. You know, I just can't moderate it. So I'm glad I said no to that. But I wanted to give you that update on why you guys haven't seen me since my birthday vlog. No, I'm not running around eating Big Macs and hitting up Culvers and going off the rails at all. It's just I have not been able to get on camera without my teeth in. You know, this is really the first time I've had them in. And as soon as I shut off this video, they'll be coming out. And I'll restart the saltwater or rinsing, you know, commence the saltwater rinse. But which really helps. You know, this has healed up pretty quick. It'll be great to get back to normal, you know. But I gotta say, I've had dentures now for 3 years. This is the first adjustment I've ever needed. And I gotta give dibs to Affordable Dentures. They got me in there. It was very cheap for them to do the adjustment. And they said, you know, within a couple weeks, if I need to come back in, they won't charge me again. So before I let you guys go, I did want to read one of your comments that I received right after I released my birthday vlog, and it's from Higher Bra. That's not the full name. It's probably like Higher Brain Function or something. But they say, happy birthday, Larry. Appreciate that. It's today the first day for the challenge restart after the failure. I don't blame you for cheating on it. I gotta have eggs and steak. Man, only ground beef is hard. That's why I'm not a fan of challenges. You literally did not eat anything bad, but yet failed the challenge. Takes a toll on confidence. Yeah, that's one way you can look at it. And when I very first saw this comment, because I saw this comment, took a screenshot right after I released that video. And you're right, you know, I did fail the challenge. And I really appreciate constructive criticism like this. I failed it. You know, I mean, and what they're referring to is when I made the meatballs for Cassie and I to take up to North Carolina, you know, I put some pork rinds in it, pork panko, and a couple eggs for a binder. And that technically was not ground beef, right? So you called me out on it. Yeah, I technically didn't finish the challenge. And now I've had 3 days of eating eggs, you know, kind of by necessity. And there's going to be a 4th. But, you know, I'm going to get right back to eating that ground beef after I'm done eating the eggs. You know, I had a counselor in rehab, and she told me, you know, there's a lot to be said about finishing something, even if you stumble. So, you know, I get to the end of the month and I look back Yeah, I had eggs and pork rinds in those, meatballs, and then I had eggs 4 days out of the month. But the rest of the time I eat ground beef, I'll be happy with that. You know, I got to tell you, I'm really looking forward to this challenge being over, but I've already got what I wanted out of it. Those cravings are pretty much crushed. I'm looking at food now like fuel. And that's what I wanted. Even though I haven't been vlogging the last 3 or 4 days, I've been really busy. I've been working on a new top 10 countdown video for you guys. Those take like 30 or 40 hours to produce. So I'm hoping to get that done by next week. And, sometimes they do awesome. We get 80,000 views. Sometimes they get 4,000 views. Be looking for that next week. But I'll see you guys before then. My first day of eating meat, I'll be, back to daily vlogging. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you stopping by for a few minutes. Very cool. If you have any questions, WED, watching every day, and in my next vlog, I'll answer some of them for you guys. Anyway, we'll see you then. Remember, no sugar, no carbs, no cheating. Later.